We're going to look at graphing multiple inequalities in lesson 91. Now, the difference between an inequality is simply that we have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to symbols compared to equal signs. So what happens, now these did us a favor, and it already put it in y equals mx plus b for us. If you didn't have it in that form, you would need to get y by itself and then get x and b solved for. So we're going to graph this, and starting with the first line, we're going to look at our y-intercept, which would be 2, our slope of 1 over 2, so up 1 to the right twice, down 1 to the left twice. Now, since it is a less than sign, if it's a less than or a greater than sign, that means it's a dotted line. So, with these points, I'm drawing a dotted line. Now, so right now, we've done that. Now, let me say this. Since it's less than, that means for whatever values x and y are, they have to be underneath this line. So I'm not going to shade yet. I'm just going to point an arrow downward because this is the area that our y and x coordinates can be for that line. We're going to see why we can't shade yet, because we have another line here. For this one, we get a y-intercept of -3, a slope of -1, so down 1 to the right one, up 1 to the left one. Now, if it's a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, it would be a solid line. So, draw my solid line. And now we got to figure out where to shade. Well, if I'm shading greater than, that means it's going to be above. Now, since I drew two lines, I'm trying to shade where they both, shade an area where x and y would work for both inequalities. So this area would not work because we got to be greater than this line. This area would not work because we have to be less than the dotted line. So therefore, I would shade that area. Okay, and that would be my solution. If I wanted to check it, I could plug in a coordinate in the shaded area and make sure it works. So for example, 0, 0, the origin. Well, 0 is greater than or equal to -3 when I plug it in. That would work. And then 0 is less than 2. So 0, 0 works. So therefore, we have shaded in the proper area. And that's how you graph multiple inequalities.